Full disclosure, the voice you are listening to now is artificially generated, brought to you by satisphonic.com. See the link in the description for more details. How is your if we are single by 30, we're getting married friend doing? Had a married at 40 option, lost contact with her for a few years and had started to rebuild our friendship. She'd got married and moved away, but was in the process of splitting up and remembering her old life. Had arranged to go and see her in her new flat, big night out planned. But then contact suddenly stopped again. Found out about 6 months later that she'd had a car crash and died instantly. Her still husband hadn't told any of her old friends what had happened. She was the first one from our friend group that had died. It hit hard. Still think of her often and the mischief we got up to in our late teens. Not me, but I have a former co-worker that made that pact with his senior high school prom date. Lost touch for 7 or so years. Reconnected at the 10-year high school reunion. Got married 2 years later. Now 2 kids with a third on the way and very happy. It was cool to watch the majority of that story go down. He has like 5-6 kids. He actually hit me up when we were 30, we're 32 now, and asked about the deal. I was like, dude, don't you have like 5 kids? I was not gonna take on that circus. It's a marriage pact, not a free nanny pact. I married her sister. I never wanted to marry her. She was my friend, and she thought of the if we aren't married by 30 thing. Heartbreaker, she can never forget low. Same here, except I was the younger sister who married the friend. I heard about their pact and told him, I'll do you one better. Happy ending, my sister and her husband tied the knot just a month after our edit. Updated the original post to clarify and avoid further momentary shock horror. Original, happy ending. My sister and I got married within a month of each other to different men, just to be clear. Good to know that you didn't marry your sister. Alabama has exited the chat. We made the pact at 15 as a joke. We finished high school, college, and moved into early adulthood while he dated other people. I was single until 23 when I met my match, who I'm still with to this day. This year, he broke up with his girlfriend because he said he loved me and couldn't be friends anymore because it was too hard for him. It sucks, but I wish him the best. Buddy had a 7-year window and really missed his chance. We both got married before 30 to other people. She married a cool dude and had 4 kids. They had a beautiful family, and so do I. I was genuinely happy for her and glad we didn't end up with each other. She died of cancer a few years ago when her youngest kid was still in elementary school. My heart breaks for her and her family. I feel closer to them than they realize because I knew her since middle school. I think of them often and hope they are finding peace and happiness in this crazy life. I lost contact with mine. Hadn't talked to her in over 20 years, but same deal. She married a pretty cool dude, had 3 kids, and just an awesome family. Last I heard, she lost one of her children at around 13. I feel absolutely awful for her and her family. I also feel like a pause because I never reached out to her. Edited, y'all have convinced me that there's now better time than now, so I'm gonna hunt her down. I'm pretty sure I might know someone who has her number. I don't do Facebook, but I look on Instagram. It's been too long and she was my one and only female best friend since middle school. Y'all, I'm gonna do it. Already know how it's going to go too. Wonderfully. You know that saying about the best time to plant a tree? Well, it doesn't have to be only about trees. Please reach out to them. My husband died 2 years ago, and our kids, 11 and 8 now, would love the opportunity to hear about their dad when he was younger. Pictures, stories, videos, all of it. It would of course make them cry, but it would be a good kind of grief cry, and they would return to those stories and pictures again and again. My mom was murdered by her abuser. They'd been together almost all of my childhood when her and my dad split 6 years ago, and I'd give anything for God's stories about her. All I get are stories about how weak she was, or how upsetting it is she never left him, or I get shitty stories from our dad about how she was nice, but never cleaned, or she could have done better, but had low self-esteem, etc. Pisses me off because I know she was weak and had low self-esteem, and honestly, I don't have many good memories about her with her, but I know that's not the only person she was. She had 32 years of her life before she met him. I was around 6. and I saw how she could be sometime. My mom loved to laugh and loved to dance and loved to live, but no one ever tells me those stories. I don't even talk to anyone who used to know her because no one was there before or after she died. My dad was only there because at first they thought they never divorced, so he had power to make decisions. And then when he realized he didn't, he took my sisters. I was 18, and they were 16, and they were 16, and they were 16, and I had to handle it. I have no pictures of her. She hated pictures for one, and I gave up fighting for anything and just let my little sisters have everything. The only thing I do have is her Tahoe, which she loved and was so proud of, and then her ashes, but I'd rather have happy memories. I've made that pact with so many people that I hope no one comes to make claims when I turn 30. So, about our pact. Ah, fuck. I knew this day was coming. Wait, but we had a pact, you traitor. Wait, you got pacts too. Everyone's lining up to wed one and fallen stars. I think all the potential suitors should fight to the death, and the last one standing gets to marry them. Now this is an idea. He's unhappily married to someone else. Spends all his time gardening now. So, how's the garden? Lol. It's very nice. He even has an Instagram dedicated to it. When you said gardening, I imagined a corpse buried in the garden with plants growing on it. I kissed her this morning when I was leaving for work. We get married in 3 days. No joke. Made the pact reconnected in person after a few years on my 31st birthday, which is 3 days before her 30th. We went out for a date, and we haven't spent a night apart since. And in 3 days, we say the all I do's. Edit. Obligatory. Wow. This blew up. Thank you all for the kind words and the awards. I'm going to show my fiancée this later after work. She'll love it. Wedding is in 2 days. Org. 18. This is sickeningly adorable. We made the pact when we were 19, had been friends since 15. It's cute as fuck. This just gets more and more grossly adorable. I'm disgusted by how cute it is. With us it was, if we are still single at 65, let's just move in together. At least we like each other. We met first year at university and had been close friends ever since. She died of breast cancer at 63. Miss her every day. I lost mine as well. We met during high school. I went to her funeral this year. She was only 27. Sorry for your loss, friend. Condolences. The young ones are hardest. He's my soon-to-be ex-husband. Lol. Oh, yikes. Hopefully it's a pleasant divorce. We're actually navigating it quite well now. Wanna make a pact? She's been living a wild life. We made the pact at 22. She got married by 24. Divorced by 25, new relationship and got pregnant at 26, married at 28 and divorced at 30. In that time, she dropped out of college, went back to college, completed her associates, got nailed for a few drug charges, and is currently fighting for custody of her kid with a dad. So, when's the wedding? Right after the next divorce. Right after before the next divorce. Reminds me of a girl I used to know. Going back to our high school days, she was attractive, smart, and studious. She dressed preppy. She was ambitious and wanted to graduate college with a degree in accounting. She then goes to college, starts drinking, gets into partying, and discovers coke. Fast forward to today. We're both in our 30s. I haven't talked to her in forever, but I still have her as a friend on Facebook. She dropped out of college, had multiple failed marriages, had to go to inpatient for a while due to being suicidal, refers to herself as a Martian, and ended up having a kid with a local no-name rap artist. I blame accounting. Sounds like you need to be not single and fast. This is actually my time to shine. I met Lisa when I was in high school through a mutual friend. Lisa lived about 4 hours, but we kept in touch by writing letters. This was in the 1980s. We met up for a spring break trip at the beach and got along well since we hadn't seen each other in several years. We both went to different colleges and dated on and off some during our college years. After college we dated then. She went to Germany for 3 years. We'd see each other casually when she'd come home, but nothing serious. When she came back home from Germany, we started seeing each other again. We made a pact that if we were not married by 30, we'd get married. We drifted apart a bit at 29 years old, and we were both dating other people. She ended up marrying the person she was dating, and I ended up marrying the person I was dating. We both went to each other's weddings with our respective souls. We'd meet as couples and go to dinner sometimes and once vacation together for a long weekend. Our kids went to the same school for a while too. Then we lost touch for about 5 years. Until one day I ran into Lisa at a local Starbucks. I heard someone call my name and it was Lisa. We hugged and caught up for a while. I then asked her how her husband was doing and she said they split up about a year ago. She asked about my wife and I told her we split about 10 months ago. We looked at each other and I asked her if she'd meet me for coffee the next day and she immediately said yes. We dated for several years and got married in December 2021. That's a lot to happen in Lisa's 4-hour lifespan. Rip Lisa. I laughed audibly. Poor grammar shortened Lisa's life to a mere 4 hours. This actually did happen for a friend of mine and his wife. But it was more of a conversation along the lines of, hey, remember that pact we made when we were 18 about getting married at 30 if we were both single?
Well, we are now 30 and single. Did you want to give dating a shot?
5 years later, and they are now happily married. I have no idea why they didn't give dating a shot years before, but that's none of my business. Is the friend of yours in this thread? Top comment replicates your story. People change and develop yearly until mid-20s. There's a chance if they started dating at 19, their personalities would have conflicted and broke up, but now that they are adults, they would probably be able to persevere through any hardship or differences. My wife and I knew each other at 16, and we would not have fallen in love if we got together at even 18. It wasn't until 24 we gave it a chance, and we've been married for almost a decade. His wife has banned him from speaking to me. Ouch. 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 She's a single mom now, so I'm getting ready to strap my stepdad boots on here shortly. Hey man, sometimes stepdads are the most important dads. Stepdad here. I needed to hear that today. Stepdad with a stepdad here. I also needed to hear that, and I agree. Stepdad, dad who stepped up. I'm marrying him in November. Well, marrying him to another woman. I'm their officiant. Duh. So when he said, I want you to marry me, it didn't mean what it sounded like. They've been priest-zoned. It's a more extreme form of friend-zoning. Depends on the type of priest. Hopefully not Mayan. An acquaintance once mentioned that they were marrying their psychologist in a few months. When I did a double take, she assured me that no, like you, she would merely be the celebrant. She's married to my good friend, but things are rocky. I just got divorced, so maybe we'll revisit this in our 40s. Just kidding. Edit, thanks for the love. I actually just saw my good friend last week. That's when he shared they had discussed the D word and that he cheated on her once. I said, if he wants to keep her, don't ever tell her about that and don't do it again. Also, he may want to cut down on drinking. She's also a good friend of mine, so I know that's one of her gripes. I really don't want them to split because I'm so proud of them. They are former heroin addicts that successfully kicked addiction, and they have 2 kids. Unless... No. Well, maybe. Never mind. But, narrator, he was not just kidding. But not really. I just talked to them the other day. We're both over 30 and still both unmarried. And, pact got renewed to 40. Never buy the extended warranty. Fucking inflation. She told me that 5 years ago. I said, why not just try dating now? We did. We're married now. Do I wait? This man hacked the system. Marriage pact partners hate this one trick. Sneaky bastard. Sometimes you gotta elbow your way to the front. I had a friend in middle high school that told me we should make a marriage pact. If we weren't married by 30, we'd get married. I lost contact with her after high school because she had a scary, jealous boyfriend. She randomly added me on Facebook and asked for my phone number. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I sent it. She sent me a very graphic photo of herself and said, hey, it's me, Cricey. And I was like, hot damn it. We talked for a bit that day, but that was our only real conversation. She had brought up our pact and we joked about it for a bit. A few months later, she messaged me asking if she can use my shower because her water got shut off. I thought that was unusual, so I just told her it wasn't a good time. That's happened to me before, and I'd normally message a family member or close friend. A couple days later, she posted a video of her and some dude, not her old boyfriend, smoking crack under a freeway overpass. She had a bandana on her face, and they filmed themselves smoking head, banging to music, thinking they looked badass. I felt really bad for her at that point. Then I wondered if I had let her use my shower, if she would have robbed me with her cholo-looking boyfriend. Not too long after that, her boyfriend started posting online that she was missing, and he can't locate her. 2 weeks after that, he changed his status to single on Facebook, and I still haven't heard from my childhood friend. I hope she's okay out there. Really hope she can get her shit together and get clean. This might just be the worst outcome I've read on this thread so far. Sorry to hear that this happened. You were 100% about to get robbed. I have gotten that call before and called her out on it, and she hung up right away. I do actually have a friend who did this. They reconnected after not seeing each other for a good while. They laughed and reminisced about their funny agreement to get married at 30 if they hadn't met someone else. They did get married pretty quick and were happy for about a year. Then they spent a couple more years miserable together. Things got very bad and he ended up divorcing her. He's now happily married to someone who seems to be much better for him. I think this is one of the issues of aiming for marriage as an end goal rather than a relationship worthy of marriage. He's in San Diego, living his best gay life. He's gonna go out jacking it in San Diego. I have a friend who says this to me every once in a while. I'd have no problem with that, except she makes it sound like she'd be miserable if she had to end up with me, so no thanks. You keep dating horrible men, and I'll watch from the sideline if I have time. Keep working on those farts in the meantime. Over COVID, I saw her profile pop up on my Switch, so I reached out to her and started catching up for the first time since I moved away for college. One thing led to another. I asked her if she'd like to move up the timeline on our promise, and we plan to get married next fall at the nice young age of 26. I can't tell if the nice young age of 26 is sarcasm or not. But that is young. He's married to a gorgeous woman with 2 of the cutest babies I've ever seen. He's a white man and was racist stuff in high school, something my hormonal ass was willing to overlook. But now he owns a gym with his best friend, who is black, and his wife is Asian. Dude turned around and achieved his dreams in the best way imaginable. Killer combo. Living his best life. And I'm in a long-term relationship myself, so we're both out here just killing it. The redemption arc. Redneck redemption. Turns out we're both gay, so not happening. Get married, do your own things, save on taxes. Government hates this one trick. Unless one of you are already married, then congrats. He's upstairs. I'm downstairs. We didn't get married, but we did buy a house together, platonic life. Great. Married with 2 kids, living his best life. Our cutoff was 28 and I was married by 21. He was married by 22. Dang, sounds like you both really didn't wanna marry each other. My current babe told me that in high school, when we were just friends, that we're best friends, and if I don't find a wife by 30, we're getting married. We decided just to date each other 6 months later. It's been 7 years now together. He's driving. We are pulling our camper. Our 9-year-old is in the back seat. We just finished a 4-night camping trip with his younger brother and his fiancée, also a if we're single couple. They have 2 girls, 2 and 4. We are all still excellent friends. My Bill and his fiancée dated right after high school. My husband and I didn't hook up until 2 days before we eloped. Married 11 years yesterday. Friends since 90. Friends since 94. Been married 16 years. Together for 20. Longest 4 days away from him after we made the pact to meet in Paris. Still haven't been to Paris, but I have the love of my life. This needs more subjects. Who, what, where now? Met in college. I had a long-term boyfriend, he was single. Became friends. I went to move in with long-term Beth across the country. Told each other that if, when I turn 30, he's older than me, if I was unmarried, he would meet me under the Eiffel Tower at midnight on 112,016. I got to my destination and major regret. Unknown to me, he was 2 days behind me, following my dumbass. He called me the morning of day 4 away from him, told me to meet him at Dennis. I packed up my shit and we have 2 kids and a dog now. He said he let me go so I could figure out my shit myself. He's amazing to this day. Edited, type.